Well, we may be a day late, but we won't be $1 short when it comes to excitement, at least not based on what we've already seen, as we welcome you to Talladega Superspeedway and the Aaron's 312. And the Sprint Cup race was thrilling. We're going to show you the finish of that in just a matter of moments, just in case you missed it just a few moments ago. But right now, we are all ready to go trackside to get this one underway, as we're going to go for a long distance, 834 total miles.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome from the Wounded Warrior Project, Thomas Green III, Todd Schroeder, and Andrew Coughlin.
Drivers, start your engines!
Got it in. Fired up. Yeah. All right, man. You can fire about halfway here. Tell me, Brandon. Scott, you got a copy on the foot? Get the car right now. Sounds good. How about you, Patrick? Clear, bud.
Well, the engines have fired. Let's go back to just, a little over a half hour ago. The final lap of the Sprint Cup race coming to the stripe. Jamie McMurray going for 3 in a row on the restrictor plate races, but Kevin Harvick pulls out around him and wins by 1/11,000th of a second. And for more, let's check in with Mike Massaro.
And Marty, Kevin Harvick in position to do something that's incredibly rare in this sport, win 2 races in the same day. Now, KHI has a pretty good success record at the Speedway. In fact, back in 2007, Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart gave KHI a 1-2 finish here. Harvick himself, however, has never won in his own car at this Speedway. He's trying to change that today. He starts on the pole looking for the Talladega sweep. Dave?
Mike, Kevin Harvick told me that if there was one guy he'd like to race with at Talladega for the win in the nationwide race, it would be Jamie McMurray. He beat him to the finish line. McMurray, of course, had won the last 2 consecutive Cup restrictor plate races, but Harvick beat him today. Jamie makes his second start in the Junior Motorsports number 88 car for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and as the engines were fired, he was still finishing up his obligations from that race earlier today. He wasn't in the car. He jumped in, he's fired it, and now he's getting buckled in. Doc?
For the past year, Carl Edwards has been singing the praises of a 26-year-old Canadian by the name of Steve Arpin. Last week, Dale Earnhardt Jr. listened and hired the young man to make his debut here today. Until Thursday, Arpin had never sat in a NASCAR Nationwide Series car. Earnhardt Jr. said, "I'll get you ready by giving you some of my personal onboard camera tapes to see the do's and don'ts of drafting at Talladega." As for crew chief Tony Eury Jr., he told the young man, said, "Look, you're a rookie. No one's going to draft with you. Find a veteran to follow and hug that yellow line until we tell you different." Marty.
All right, thanks, Doc. And the 99 of Trevor Bayne, it's his sponsor's race. And the new paint scheme, this was actually designed in a contest by 7-year-old Alexander Kovac. He was the grand prize design winner. Nice job, Alexander. And we'll talk to our in-race reporter. It will be Trevor Bayne when we come back to Talladega.
Said the Pathfinder to the Caravan, "Your journey is a wonderful puzzle." Racing on a track of historic size and speed, man, machine, and destiny connect, piece by piece, locking together, completing a picture of speed and triumph. A series of left turns becoming a relentless path to glory. A million stories.
Right now we're 6 laps short on the pulled right up in front of you.
A million emotions.
Hey, stop. Joey, keep your head on yourself, man. What the hell was that all about? You had nothing you could do.
A million pieces.
Get a little more air out of the left hand.
Colliding at 200 miles per hour.
2, 3, 4, 5 cars outside.
Watch this. Watch this.
The final pieces come together.
We got plenty of fuel to make it.
Only one thing will bring order.
Outside the 56,
And one thing makes them whole.
Stewart takes the win at Talladega.
Reagan will beat Bryant by inches.
Only one thing. Victory.
And in 117 laps, we will know who had put all the pieces of the puzzle together. together here at Talladega Superspeedway. What a difference a day makes. Look at all these campers, motorhomes. We were very close. There were 54 total touchdowns. We're not talking football. We're talking about tornadoes in Alabama and Mississippi. And our thoughts are with everybody over in Yazoo City especially. Ricky Stenhouse comes from Olive Branch, Mississippi. His family's okay, but he knows some people that are not. And we wish them all the best. Here's the weather right now as the temperature is just starting to cool off. It's 78 degrees. It was a little bit warmer. And you can see we've had a breezy day, up to 20, sometimes 25 miles an hour on the Gus. As we come topside with Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie, let's talk about the fact that in the first race we saw the action fast and furious, a lot of lead changes, and of course a few collisions.
Yeah, and that's what we come to expect kind of here, as bad as that may sound. But, you know, because of the close racing, just like we see here going through the trial, this is one of the places these guys are going to have to stay off of each other because they can create a lot of bad situations just like this.
Yeah, and these bumpers on these cars line up real well. The bumpers on these Nationwide cars, not so much. And even though we don't want to see the big one, we almost always do.
And we have a lot of inexperience in this field, guys that have not raced here before. Let's shift gears a little bit, though, and talk about the fact that we have guys that are going for now, it will be a total of 834 miles because of the 3 green-white checkers that we did.
Yeah, that's, you know, this isn't a physically demanding racetrack, although you do get pretty dehydrated. I hope those guys took the 30 minutes and got some fluids in them. But more than anything, the mental strain it puts on you as a driver, always in a pack of cars all day long. Now they have 312 more miles of that today. They're going to have to really get themselves composed and try to stay that way throughout the day.
Yeah, and we got a lot of inexperience up front, too. And a lot of guys up there are going to be ready to get going, but they are very enthusiastic that they'll have a shot at actually winning this race.
We will have a competition caution from NASCAR at lap number 20. Let's quickly talk to our in-race reporter, Trevor Bain.
Trevor, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, our first question comes from our mailbag, and Seth from Cold Spring, Kentucky wants to know, you didn't have much luck on the first Super Speedway race at Daytona this season. How do you plan to adjust to race well at Talladega today?
Well, hopefully we get some of that luck we didn't have there. But, you know, it's all about experience and getting comfortable with racing with these guys. And that's why we made as many laps as we could in practice there, just so these guys know that they can push this 99 car when the time comes. And, you know, I think that we got a lot of comfort out of those guys now. So I understand with rookie stripes that I'm going to be doing a lot of the pushing. So we'll just see how this first part of the race plays out. And just be careful here these first 20 laps till that competition caution.
Trevor, I know that anytime you get in a race car, you want to win the race. But is today more about getting more experience at this type of racing and getting a good, solid finish?
It is, and that's the conversation I just had with my spotter, Brett Griffin. You know, I told him just to keep me on pace because it's hard as a race car driver to not want to go to the front on the first lap. So, you know, that's going to be a challenge for Jerry and Brad to kind of keep me on pace and keep me slowed down enough to where, you know, we're in the right place at the right time. So I know I got a good eye in the sky and a good guy sitting on the pit box, so we'll see if we can't make the most out of it.
All right, buddy, have a good day, and most of all, a safe one. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Jerry Baxter.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Jerry Baxter, Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Jerry, we always talk about strategy as we get started for these races, and sometimes that's about fuel and tires and that sort of thing, but Talladega's a little different. What kind of instructions have you given your spotter and driver to approach this race?
Well, the whole time during practice, we worked on making this Aaron's car pull up in the draft. You know, that's the biggest challenge here, these current cars that we run. So we worked on that a lot, tried to get Trevor all the laps we could get. Now, just watching that race we just ended, it appeared that Jamie Mack gave him a pretty good lesson in riding the back and then ended up at the front when it was time to go. So we're going to kind of play it that way. First 20, then we'll have a competition caution, and we'll see what we can do with the old Aaron's car here.
Okay, Jerry, thanks for talking to us, and hope you have better luck than you did at Daytona, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Here's the rest of our onboard cameras. Justin Allgaier, Brian Vickers, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Stephen Wallace, Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard, and you already heard from Trevor Bain. And as we come back trackside, and we get a look at all the onboard views we've got for you, the ticker will come in across the top with the starting grid. We'll let you know that Jeff Green went to the rear in the number 40 machine for an engine change. And you'll also see the names of those that failed to qualify coming in right now below the ticker. One more pit road story. Let's check in with Shannon Spake.
Well, Marty, because of his 30th place finish last week at Texas, Carl Edwards has dropped outside the top 3 in points for the first time in almost 2 years. Now, Edwards, one of the drivers pulling double duty here today, over 800 miles at this mentally exhausting racetrack. His strategy on the Cup side was to drop back, wait till the end of the race, and then make his move. Over here on the Nationwide, Drew Blickensurfer, his crew chief, told me we are going to get to the front as soon as we can, and that's where we want to stay. Marty?
Thank you, Shannon. Let's talk a little bit about what we'll see over the next 117 laps on this 2.66-mile oval at Talladega Superspeedway. Your pit road speed is 55 miles an hour. Pit window 42 to 47 laps, and your eyes are not deceiving you. It's the highest bank of all NASCAR racing, 33 degrees. Had more than 100,000 spectators earlier today. A lot of those people have stuck around as the pace car pulls down onto pit road as we get ready for another thrilling race as we are about to go for 312 miles here at Talladega Superspeedway. And the NASCAR Nationwide Series is now green. Keselowski in the 26 pulls up and starts falling to the rear. We can also tell you Scott Lagasse started on pit road. He had to come down right before they went green. It's Kevin Harvick leading that inside line.
You can see Steve Arpin there caught in the 7 car, caught in the middle. This is a lesson he's going to learn early. That middle is probably not where you want to be.
Welcome to NASCAR, son. You're supposed to be following that 88 of Jamie McMurray, not in front of him.
Well, at least he's getting some help there now. He's got a teammate that's willing to get up on his bumper and see if he can push him back and get him in a hole.
Arpin in the 7, and yes, they've changed the paint scheme. First time it's been in the GoDaddy colors. All other races so far this year. Let's set it for you. There is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., one of those young guns we were talking about with not a lot of experience. He's in second. A little further back, James Busher in the 98 of Paul Menard going side by side. Busher clears him, so Menard going backwards.
Yeah, we'll see a number of these guys, especially the Cup guys that have come over, and I think we have 10 of them. It's going to take them a couple of minutes to adjust to these cars now, knowing where their mirrors are, exactly what they can and can't see out of these cars versus the Sprint Cup cars.
It's actually 11, just to make everybody, in case they're counting back there and saying, wait a minute, I thought there was one more guy in there. But it's also true that we have that caution coming up at lap 20, and they're saying, hey, I don't have to wear myself out.
Yeah, they can afford to drop back and see what they've got here. One thing that these cars have is that they have an aerodynamic package that's quite different than the Cup cars. They do have a fin up on the roof, you can see there, makes a lot of drag. They've got a lip on the rear spoiler that makes a lot of drag. But they don't, you can't quite draft like you saw those Cup cars. You can't drop quite as far back and be able to catch back up. So they have to be careful not to lose the draft.
Sees Arpin in the 7 now with help from Jamie McMurray, able to make his way. He's leading that outside line.
The 09 is in the middle of that pack. Patrick Sheltra, as he is going back. Sheltra had a big night the other day on the ARCA race here at Talladega. Coming back to complete lap number 3. It is Harvick, Stenhouse, Carl Edwards 3rd, and Shelby Howard in 4th. And he had a great qualifying run. As Shelby with his best starting position of the season, and there he is in that long freight train with Jason Leffler right behind him, and also Parker Kligerman.
We're talking about a lot of guys there that, as you mentioned early on, that we haven't heard be up in the front of the starting order, and in particular the first part of these races. But you know, this is great experience for those guys to race around guys like Kevin Harvick, who just won a Cup race, and you know, see what makes them different, what puts them up there in that position.
Somebody sliding up the hill right there.
Maybe Parker Kligerman?
Yeah, I think Parker did get out of line. Oh, he's going to learn a rookie lesson here.
Yeah, he might have seen that in the Cup race to where he saw a line coming and the guys would pull over. He just didn't pull far enough and get himself in front of that to take advantage. Now he's going to head way back.
And Justin Allgaier waves to him as he goes by. Harvick still up front, picking up right where he left off. Second place is Stenhouse, Edwards, Howard. And Howard, to give you an idea, his best run this year has been 16th at Nashville. So early in this race, he's doing really well. Further back, look at this. We're getting 3 wide action already in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. The 66, that is Stephen Wallace on the left side. Let's go on board with him. There's Joe Nemechek. And boy, you talk about a guy who's got a lot of records for the Nationwide Series. Here at Talladega, it's Joe.
Yeah, he is a restrictor plate driver, and this is his team, and he puts a lot of emphasis on this type of racing as a team owner, so he really likes this style of racing.
Second on the win list at this track with 2, 1 behind all-time leader Martin Truex. He has the most top 5s with 6, and the most poles with 5. So front row Joe, it's one of the places he got his name. The 3 wide racing continues. We've got to step just aside for a bit. There's your top 5 after 5 of 117 laps here at Talladega. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Talladega. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We've definitely got 2 lines of action going down around this 2.66-mile oval. On the inside, Kevin Harvick, and now Ricky Stenhouse right behind him. On the outside, you've got Carl Edwards and the 7 car of Harvick. Now, just a few moments ago, while we were in break, watch the push.
Yeah, Carl Edwards saw this group coming on the outside, so he pulls out to get the push, and it pays off for him. He gets the lead, getting by Harvick right here.
The one thing you got to remember, and you mentioned it right at the beginning, these cars do not match up from rear bumper to front end.
Well, they line up pretty good. They just don't line up quite as good as the Cup cars do because they were designed to do that. They actually designed that car so those bumpers lined up perfectly. These cars line up okay. Now you see some real racing going on. Jamie McMurray now making it 3 wide, diving for that middle we were talking about.
Dave, what's the latest on the 88?
Well, he's picking up where he left off in that Cup race. He started 26, and he's all the way up in front of the pack. When he finished at the front of the pack, you may have missed it right at the top of the show. Of course, you're obligated to go to the media center, talk to the media about where you, how you race, and he finished way up in the Cup race, 2nd place. So he had to go do all that. As they were starting engines, he was hustling to get to his race car and buckle himself in. Didn't appear to make any difference to him at all. He's racing to the front.
See up on the high side here, the red and white car is Mike Wallace, who is tremendous drafter. We talk about people that understand the draft. This is one of the guys that understand it better than anybody else in this race.
And you have to understand that this team, this 0-1 team, Johnny Davis, they don't have the money that these Cup teams do. They don't have the kind of financing. So, oh, man, look at this drafting going on.
And that's an example of how it doesn't match up. He started to get underneath him.
Yeah, instead of just pushing them forward, it lifts the rear of the car up a little bit and makes the cars really loose.
So Allgaier backs out of it just enough to let Mike get control. And right in front of him is the 22, and that is Allgaier's teammate, Brad Keselowski. And Keselowski did not have a good run in the Cup race.
Well, back to what I was saying earlier about money, that's one of the things about this big racetrack and all this drafting. It's a big equalizer. There's a lot of guys that really feel like they've got a chance to win this race. Mike Wallace really feels like he can win this one.
Look at the 88. McMurray tucked up right underneath Carl Edwards, trying to put the pressure on race leader Kevin Harvick. Harvick still has Stenhouse right behind him. Look at the push. They have moved into the lead.
Now, I didn't think we'd see this kind of phenomenon going on with the 2 cars like we saw with the Cup car, but there's a little of it right there.
Yeah, you can do it, but I was told by these guys that even though you can do it here, you can do it for a shorter period of time. There's not as much opening there. These cars, for some reason, don't get the air, and they run hot much quicker.
Did you notice that 7 car Steve Harper's looking around saying, what happened to all my escorts? My help. They left me. Welcome to NASCAR, rookies. So far, he was running in the ARCA race also. Patrick Sheltra finished 2nd in that race a couple of days ago. And the 7 of Steve Harper was running in the top 5, but he got spun, got loose, crashed on the last lap. There's your top 5 right now after 12 of 117.
Applebee's introduces real burgers from across America. 100% fresh, made to order.
Back here at Talladega for the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. Verizon Wireless customers, don't forget you can text Champion to 43776 for exclusive Champions chats. It's content from NASCAR Now Roundtable experts as we ride along with Justin Allgaier. Remember when Allgaier got up underneath the 01? As he has dropped back a little bit further right now. But Mike Wallace, when he was on the radio, here's what he said about it.
12, it's okay to bump draft. Don't destroy the back of my car. Tell him to calm his ass down a little bit. 10-4. Sitting here with the 22 in front of me, I can't go
Well, you could see the back end of the 01 car right there. It already has a dent in the center of the rear bumper. And, yeah, you don't want to be too aggressive because, again, with these not lining up perfectly, you have to be extremely careful, especially at this point in time of the race. We're getting ready to have a competition caution here in a few laps. There's no reason to take that chance right now.
And look up front. Does this look like deja vu just with different paint schemes? Because you've got McMurray leading Harvick. And if you watched the race earlier today, this is how it was as they went for the stripe. Right behind him is Carl Edwards in third. Then Brian Scott has worked his way up to fourth. Kyle Busch is now up to fifth. Stenhouse has dropped to sixth. Howard has dropped to seventh. Arp in eighth. Brad Keselowski to ninth. And Joe Nemechek in 10th.
Hey, you can see right there with Brian Scott and Kyle Busch, they had used that little two-car hookup to make their way to the front. They used that third lane on the outside to just go by all these cars.
3 wide through the tri-oval. Pass, start, finish. And it is still McMurray and Harvick, and they're trying to open up some distance over Carl Edwards.
Now, if they're getting too technical, this aero package that Andy was talking about, that fin across top makes such a huge hole in the air. That's why these cars pull up so quickly on each other. And that's why you have to be careful with that closing rate that you have as we watch right here. We want to get the bump, but you just don't want to do it too hard. These two guys, I'm thinking, might know what they're doing here today if they're not careful.
I've noticed that they're doing it a lot on the straightaway, but they're giving each other just a little bit of room in the corners. Unlike the Cup race where we saw them actually touching through the corners all the way around the racetrack.
Look at Jason Leffler on the left side of your screen. He got a little loose. Don't know if it was assisted or at all by the 66. As we checked on pit road with Dr. Jerry Punch.
You mentioned Brad Keselowski had issues during the NASCAR Sprint Cup race. He was involved in an accident early that knocked the crush panel out of the inside of his Penske Dodge. And what's that do, folks? That allowed carbon monoxide inside his car. So you're seeing there, that was him coming down pit road to climb in his NASCAR Nationwide Series car. They were giving him oxygen to flush out the carbon monoxide. Did it work? Well, he started back in 24th and drove it right up to the top 2.
He's fifth right now, and he's getting the push from Brian Scott. Carl Edwards has got Ricky Stenhouse. Boy, Stenhouse is looking a little loose right behind him in the sixth there.
See somebody's hand out the window. Looked like Mike Wallace waving at James Busher behind him.
Oh, no, look out. Carl Edwards turns, and we've got multi-cars into the wall. Leffler's involved in this. The 62 have gone. The 21 of Boyer.
Just ready to say something. I'm just ready to say something to you.
Patrick Sheltra involved. The 16 of Colin Brown, the one thing he did not need because he's out of this seat. And we've got a car on fire down in the corner of turn 1, and it is Mike Wallace. He had a great beginning to this race. There's the damage to Stephen Wallace. There's what's left of the 60 of Carl Edwards.
Saw one car go spinning down and actually hit the inside wall and then kept going all the way to turn 1 like the throttle was on.
There's Michael Annett also in the 15.
This is where you don't bump draft right here. And you can see Carl Edwards got hit in the rear right there.
Oh, my goodness. He got hit by a lot of cars here. So it turns into a huge crash.
It goes back to a little bit of the inexperience that we're talking about. There are just places on this with these bumpers not lined up. You see he just lifted the rear wheels off the ground.
Well, Stenhouse was excused from last week's team meeting. I'm not sure he's going to be excused from this week's.
See that black car right there? I believe it's the 10 car.
Watch the
really
6 again.
There's so many cars spinning, it's hard to follow each one.
Still 2 by 2, no holes. There you go.
Yeah, it's just something that you can't do right there.
That tri-oval's a turn.
Yeah, your car's already light through there anyway. See, Carl's got his hands off the wheel. He knows he's going to get hit.
And you saw how many times it snapped back left, then right.
The garage.
Keeps you from breaking a thumb or worst, a wrist. All right, so we will sort out all the damage. We mentioned Colin Brown. He was in the doghouse after last week at Texas, and he is out of the ride for the next 2 races. We'll talk more about all this when we come back to Talladega. Back here at Talladega after we have had the big one and the Aaron's 312. Our first caution, we were just short of the mandatory caution, and it will give the Aaron's lucky dog to the 43 of Scott Lagasse. And if you're wondering, we have not had any starting parks. Mark Green is 2 laps down, but he is still on the track, and he is shown in 43rd position. And but several of these cars are not going to be coming back, as we have Sorensen involved, Leffler, Mike Wallace, Michael Annett, James Busher, and Carl Edwards. We'll see if there's any other damage that puts others behind the wall. Stay with us. At least 6 cars involved in this big one here at the Aaron's 312, as they are shown as off the racetrack. There is James Busher as he's on the hook. No word yet from any of the medical crews. The 38 of Jason Leffler, that's a team that was looking to rebound. It has not been the beginning of the year that they were expecting. And also involved Reed Sorensen, Mike Wallace, Michael Annett, and that is what's left of Reed Sorensen's car. And his car, we noticed on the replay, took a severe hit into the right side wall.
He hit the outside wall really hard and then went down to the inside, a long way down to the inside, hit the inside wall, and actually carried on some speed even down into turn 1. He didn't hit the outside wall there, but looked like he got the worst of that crash for sure.
Yeah, this is Mike Wallace. He was the first one to hit Carl Edwards after he spun. He was still running wide open at well over 180 miles an hour.
We are told now from NASCAR officials that pit road will be open this time by, so everyone will come in here as we are working lap number 25.
Yeah, this would be a good time to take 4 tires because of that big accident there. You never know how much debris you run through, so it'd be a good chance to just go ahead and take 4 tires and not have to worry about that.
And this does take the place of the mandatory caution that we would have had back on lap 20. And you can see everybody loaded on the wall, waiting for their driver to bring it on down pit road. Takes a long time when you're doing about 55 miles an hour to cover 2.6 miles. This place is so huge. And you really don't get a sense of just how steep that banking is until you are standing right next to it. And some of these times when these crew workers have to go up there and try and clear debris, and they can barely stay standing. Well, it looks like everybody is going to take your advice and come down and change tires and get a full load of fuel. And the 88's in, Dave.
The leader is in. He described his car as freaking fast. Jackman Brian Groman has a special job this time. As he comes around to the driver's side, he will hand Jamie McMurray a bottle of ibuprofen. Has a headache, he'll get that in addition to 4 tires. Shannon?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. saying the car is just a little bit loose, and he is having some problems sucking up. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 6. Don.
Bottom of your screen, Brad Keselowski says the car's a bit tight in the corner. They're going to put a round of wedge out, add 4 fresh Goodyears, and fill it up with fuel. Mike Massaro.
Kevin Harvick looking to become the first driver ever to win a Cup race and another National Touring Series event the same day, taking 4 tires, 1 can of Sunoco race fuel, and a wedge.
Race off pit road, courtesy of Nationwide Insurance. Joe Nemechek, front row Joe.
He's the only one that didn't take my advice. He didn't get tires.
Now the 6 car of Stenhouse had to be pushed off. He had trouble firing that car. We can tell you, we've just gotten word Reed Sorensen in that 10 car that took such a hard lick into the outside wall, he has been released from the infield care. As we get other updates, we'll of course pass that along. Watch the race off pit road as we head to commercial break, and you see what happens as there is second place. The 87 is already long gone. Back here at Talladega, let's reset it for you. It's Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, Brad Keselowski, Steve Arpin, and Joey Logano. That is your top 6. As it looks like the lights are out on the pace car. And let's listen on the radio. Remember earlier Dave Burns reported he was talking about a headache? Here's the conversation again.
I don't know if you guys can do it or not, but you can give me like some aspirin or something like that if you got anything. You got a really bad headache.
And there they did deliver the aspirin. He continued around under caution, managed to pop a few. We did not go green, and they're going to hold Carl Edwards. They got him back out, and he's going to get penalized because he drove up pit road backwards when that caution first came out.
Yeah, that's a no-no. That's against procedure. You can imagine why they have that rule.
So come back down pit road. They're going to hold us 1 lap.
So for Carl, well, he's already 6 laps down, so chances of winning this race.
And I'm sure he probably thought after getting bounced around in there, he wasn't going to be back out for a long time.
He probably wasn't sure which way he was going anyway.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised how quickly they did get that car out. And we can also tell you now that James Buescher has been released. So has Michael Annett, Jason Leffler, and we already reported Rein Sorensen. We also should tell you the 66 of Stephen Wallace is now behind the wall as the damage is there. And I guess his broken foot is probably sore again. Kevin Harvick, of course, the race leader and the race winner earlier today in Sprint Cup action. We eavesdropped on his radio just a little while ago.
Kevin, if you ever get in a spot where you start hitting the chip, the Box B's got 200 RPM higher chip in it. Do you want to save that for the end?
I will need it because we're sitting around leading about 75.
So interesting data we need to hold in our bank.
Yeah, they build these engines to be as light as possible, so they're kind of limited on RPM, so they put a rev limiter there so they don't do any damage, but they can bypass it if they need to.
Let's clarify one thing. Kevin can become the first to win both a Sprint Cup and a Nationwide Series race in the same day. Kyle Busch won a Camping World Truck race and a nationwide race out in California a couple of years ago. So it was February of 2009. In fact, it was just it seemed like 2 years ago, but actually just a little over a year ago. So that's the only other time that it has happened, but it's never been done with Sprint Cup and Nationwide. Lights are out on the pace car, and it looks like this time by we might get to go back to green flag racing as we have completed 27, almost 28 of the scheduled 117 laps. Pace car has pulled down on pit road. They'll come through the tri-oval. Look for the little white lines to the right there. That's where they can start accelerating. And right there, and green flag is out. We're back to racing here at Talladega. Look at this action at the front of this field. Kevin Harvick side by side with Kyle Busch. Busch getting the push from Brad Keselowski, and McMurray helping the 33.
You can see how, now this is the way that drafting's supposed to be done here. Not running in hard to each other, but just tucked up tight. You can see how it's going to work here, and just like we saw in the Cup cars.
Yeah, they're touching all the way through the turns right here, too. And this is something we really haven't seen yet with these cars, but it looks like it's working okay.
And Joey Logano trying to get up into that mix as well.
But you can see McMurray he pushed Kevin Harvick away from him a little bit, and that allowed the 18 and the 22 to come flying by on the outside.
And look at the speed differential as they open up about, a 7-8 car gap just that quickly.
Now, these guys were telling me it's a little more difficult to stay attached to those cars because they've got a smaller plate in these cars than what they had in the Cup cars. And that's why it was making it more difficult to stay tucked up like that.
And now you see the gap between the 22 car and the 18 car. And now the outside lane coming with Harvick and McMurray. They're actually touching now. You can see just how big of an advantage that is.
It's something like 88 lead changes in the Sprint Cup race today. We've had 8 lead changes, 5 different leaders. Kevin Harvick has led the most laps with 13, but it looks like he's going to lead another one as he comes cutting down to the bottom. Here comes the outside. Keselowski's hung out, though. I don't think he's got no help out there.
He's out there with all his friends. Well, here's one coming up behind him.
And look how far he just slides on back. Like it was Shelby Howard that tucked up underneath him there. 3 wide, a little bit further back. That's Brendan Gaughan in the 62. On the high side is Patrick Shelton. Here we go with the battle for the race lead. Jamie McMurray gets underneath the 33, and now Harvick is hung out. And here comes the parade. He's got a bird's eye view of everybody going by him. He needs some help. He's either got to tuck in or he's got to find some friends.
He tried to tuck in.
Yeah, but the 32 of Brian Vickers said, no, I've seen this act. I ain't going to let you. And look at this. Look how far he is sliding.
Yeah, that's where you have to get over here and get some side draft to slow one of those cars down a little bit, and then that will help somebody get behind you and hopefully open up a hole for you.
He has dropped back and still sinking. He is back to 13th. Finally, he's got Trevor Bayne behind him, and he ducks back into line. But it's now up front with Jamie McMurray, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, young Brian Scott, and Paul Menard. That's your top 5.
And we were speaking of Trevor Bayne there. He's done a nice job coming from back in the pack, starting well back in the 30s and up to 15th now. So he's getting a good lesson here, learning a lot, but also running very well.
The 09 going around him on the outside. That's Patrick Sheltra, but Sheltra doesn't have enough help to make it last. Let's get more on the 99 of Trevor Bayne. Dave Burns.
We talk, Marty, so often about strategies that fall apart here at Talladega. You can make a plan, but it'll never hold. Well, it might just hold for Trevor Bayne. He's a rookie. He has yellow stripes on the back bumper of his car. He knows that cars are not going to necessarily push him to victory, but he's pretty sure he can push cars to victory. So that's what he did with the veterans in practice. He pushed the veterans, and he let them know that he's got a car that can help them win.
Well, that is Scott Wimmer right in front of him in the 27 ride. And we are going to step aside for just a moment. Jamie McMurray finished second earlier today. Does he come back and spoil the chance for the double for Kevin Harvick? Stay with us to find out. Did Ahrens? Nobody beats Ahrens. Nobody. Well, every time we sneak away, well, it's every time we're here at Talladega, things happen, and boy, it has continued to happen out on this racetrack as we still have 35 cars on the lead lap. It is now Jamie McMurray, who has now led a total of 17 laps, 11 different lead changes. Let's go back a little bit earlier.
You see right here the teammates using that bump draft to get by Jamie McMurray. Works pretty good, you can see.
And then about a half a lap later, DJ, it got a little dicey.
A little bit dicey coming just out of the tri-oval here. You see Jamie McMurray in the 3rd spot. That could have been big.
And it shuffled Joey Logano all the way back to 10th position. So it's McMurray, Kyle Busch, Brian Scott, Paul Menard, and Brian Vickers with Steve Arpin in 6th. Let's talk more about that 11 car in 3rd right now, Shannon Spake.
Well, Brian Scott started this race 17th, and he is having a great run here today. It's his first nationwide start here at Talladega, but he is a graduate from the ARCA series, and he has 2 ARCA starts here at this race, so he definitely knows how to draft. He said here at Talladega, it's all about survival. Guys, he's doing a lot more than just surviving today.
He certainly is, and look at the 42 of Parker Kligerman right alongside as he is tucked in behind his Penske teammate, Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, the Dodge is looking pretty good there. They've been trying to work that outside lane. Jamie McMurray is doing such a good job leading this race. He keeps, even if he gets shuffled, he finds his way right back to the lead.
Yeah, you know, after a while you say, well, he's got good race cars, but everything that he gets in at these places, he seems to get up front, and he's able to keep it up front. He's going to get past for the lead right now.
Down the backstretch, the 22 noses out in front with the help of Parker Kligerman. McMurray on the low side coming back with the help of Kyle Busch. Joey Logano, remember when he was 10th just a lap ago? There he is back into the mix. Oh, I love this racing.
You can tell Logano it's going to take teammates to win this thing, or people that are going to stay with people. The 88-33, you got to keep them separated.
I think that would be a good game plan.
Yeah, after seeing that Cup race and what we've seen so far in this one, that would be a good plan.
Well, Kyle right now is in the catbird seat right behind Jamie McMurray, so he's doing what he wants to do, keeping the 33 out of that mix. Harvick is back in 7th. Let's get more, Dave Burns.
And Kyle Busch may want that rookie Brian Scott that Shannon was talking about to be in that mix with him. He radioed during that first caution. Tell him he's doing the right things. He's doing a good job.
Brian Scott's best finish in 14 nationwide races in his career is 10th back at California earlier this season.
Yeah, and guys generally think that others are doing a good job whenever they're help pushing them. So
yeah.
It's whenever he pulls out there and tries to pass him that he might think that he's not doing it. But he is doing a nice job. Brian Scott's doing exactly what he's supposed to do right now. Stay in line and push.
Take a look at the rookie points right now. Brian Scott leading James Buescher by 2. And that's only the best 16 finishes of the season that count.
And Brian Scott, he's hanging in there on the bottom there, 4th car in line, but
check out
that he might have a flat tire.
Check out who Joey Logano hooks up with and just bolts to the lead. It's Kevin Harvick right behind him.
And that's what's so great about this package these guys run. If you can fall back, get a partner, find your way right back to the front.
It'll be our 12th different lead change among 6 different leaders. Uh-oh, here we go, 3 wide.
I'm looking up on the outside there. I see Clint Boyer. I think he was in that wreck we saw a while ago. And here he's moving his way back to the front.
Paul Menard pulls out right in front of them there as he goes high, and looks like Vickers goes with him. So 3 wide as they come through the trioval. Oh, I always hated to feel like you were the guy on the high side when you were 3 wide on this place.
Yeah, especially when nobody's wanting to help you. That's the worst feeling in the world if you're just up there and all these guys going by and there's nothing that you can do.
But a lot of times, if you got the right guy to run with and you can get hooked up, you can get up on that outside and really go. See, now that's what Brad Keselowski's trying to do with Jamie McMurray now on his bumper.
So it's Joey Logano as he is our 7th different official leader across the stripe, and now 13 total lead changes here at the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. Major League Baseball continues on ESPN tonight and tomorrow, and if you're a Mets fan, you're going to love it. It's first up with the Braves as they head to Citi Field to take on the Mets. That's tonight as baseball is presented by Taco Bell at 8 Eastern. And then on Monday, the Dodgers visit the Mets as Monday Night Baseball is presented by Sears Lawn and Garden at 7 Eastern. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN3.com tonight and tomorrow. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, we now have McMurray, or actually, I should say Brad Keselowski up in front. He's got the 12 of Justin Allgaier, who has worked his way into this mix. Let's go back and show you how this happened during the break.
Well, Jamie McMurray had worked his way back up to the front. You can see Brad Keselowski on the outside. Getting a push here from Joey Logano, who's getting a push from Justin Allgaier.
And we mentioned this during the commercial break. All 3 of us are surprised at how much actual contact we're seeing with these guys bump drafting.
No!
Look out! Now, Carl was just being swallowed up by the field because he was 7 laps down.
Over there. Just hold it down, lock it down, lock it down. They sucked us around, Drew.
Yeah, that's
all
what
right, crank it up here.
And the caution is out, our 2nd caution.
It looked like he just got sucked around by the air of those cars going by.
Well, remember, he's got a lot of damage in the back of that car, so the aerodynamics of that thing are, shall we say, less than ideal. There's what I mean.
Yeah, and I would have to think that maybe possibly the rear end would even be out of kilter a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably knocked it around
hit.
a little bit. Now you see that right rear tire slide. I don't know if he's had that tire going down before.
Yeah.
Well, this has not been the kind of day that Carl Edwards has wanted. Take another look at it. Watch the 60. He's at the left of your screen.
Yeah,
he had a flat tire there.
He had a flat tire. Looked like maybe already there.
Wow. That's a bad time to get it right in front of the whole pack.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Did a nice job.
Let's go on board with Carl. Listen.
5 back. They're going to swallow you here. Just keep it tight. We just spun over there. Just hold it down, lock it down, lock it down. They sucked us around, Drew. All right, crank it up here.
Well, a couple of laps before that, watch the 18 of Kyle Busch, and you're saying, wait a minute, the yellow's out of bounds? He had a problem.
Yeah, I think his engine was running hot, and he just needed some air to the grill immediately, so he just pulls down out of the way, lets the field go. Maybe this will help cool it down, and he won't have to make a pit stop, but now that they've got the caution, he can come in.
Too hot. 10-4. Long ways, man. Not even to halfway. Just do whatever we got to do here.
Yeah, just trying to get some air to it.
And as long as you don't improve your position, you're not out of bounds, you're not penalized. You know, putting a period on Carl. Talladega is the only active track. Well, Carl has never finished in the top 5. It's not going to happen today either.
Yeah, just looking at Kyle Busch's car, the front bumper has really got a lot of damage. You can see where they've been doing a lot of this slam drafting or bump drafting. It could have damaged some of that ductwork in the front of that car.
So our 2nd caution, we've had a total of 9 laps under caution so far here as we are about to complete lap number 48. And Mark Green is going to get our Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. Mark is actually 2 laps down in 35th. There are 34 cars on the lead lap. I can tell you that Donnie Neuenberger has taken the 52 behind the wall as Carl Edwards is now 8 laps down, and here they come down pit road. The 88's going to be first up. Dave Burns.
Marty, the first pit stop, they wanted to take 2 tires, but Jamie had run through debris. This time, they're planning on taking only 2. No adjustments to the race car. He gets around Morgan Shepherd. Doc?
Joey Logano in. There'll be 2 tires only for the Toyota driver and fuel. Remember, they kept telling Joey to save fuel, but he wanted to lead so bad it was hard to do. Below him, the 22 car, Brad Keselowski. He was the only car among the leaders that could not make it on fuel. This cautioned a big break for him. Mike.
And Chad Walter and Justin Allgaier opting for track position as well. Fuel only, but nearly a collision off pit road as Allgaier exited.
And you saw the gas can still attached to the 20s trying to shake it off. He does. Now we got that out in the middle of the track. So everybody will have to dodge that. And there'll be a penalty for the 20. And
woof, there's a lot going on down there.
We did see some contact for sure there on pit road.
Yeah, with Justin Allgaier. Let's go back. Here it is.
It's like Scott Lagasse and he come together. You can see trying to get fuel, get out. There's Lagasse trying to get into his stall.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but that'll be kind of significant right there.
Yeah, I don't see any damage right there on that fender where I was
see where it pushed it in a little bit. You could see the tire then.
And then Brian Scott gets a little pinch there from both sides. It looks like everybody did manage to squeeze through there. Keep an eye on the 12 to see if they have any damage that they're going to have to repair. Also on the 43 of Lagasse. There is your race off pit road with the 88 beating Brad Keselowski. And oops, I forgot to leave something back in the pit box. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series here at Talladega. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We're under our second caution and a number of penalties. The 88 of Jamie McMurray, along with the 32 of Brian Vickers, the 75 of Bobby Gerhart, all busted for speeding. So that's going to hurt their efforts. Let's get ready to go back to racing. Eric McClure has not pitted since lap 26, so he is shown as your race leader. He's chosen the inside line. Brad Keselowski, Paul Menard, Patrick Shelton, and then Scott Wimmer. That's your top 5 as we're back to green flag racing here at Talladega. And already Eric McClure gets shuffled as he is now caught in the middle. Then all of a sudden the 09 of Sheltra ducks down and the young Brian Scott goes with him.
To lead this race. See Trevor Bayne up on the high side in the 99. He doesn't have a dancing partner right now though.
Sheltra finished second in the ARCA race here on Friday, and right now will he lead the lap? Well, here comes the 22 with some help from Kevin Harvick as they're heading for the stripe. Further back, there is Kyle Busch in the 88 of Jamie McMurray as they're trying to fight their way back to the front.
Sheltra led that lap.
So yes, Patrick Sheltra is our 10th different leader. We've had 19 total lead changes so far. If you're wondering, are the most leaders we've ever had? 20 in 36 lead changes.
This has been a fantastic day of just racing here at Talladega. Cup race was a great race, and we've seen nothing but good racing here so far.
The fans are definitely getting their money's worth today as we are working lap 52 of 117. There's the road for Patrick Sheltra. Let's get more on Sheltra, Shannon.
And Marty, you mentioned that second place finish in the ARCA race. It was a hard-fought battle for that team. They had to work on the car. They had some repairs. A little bit of the same here today. Patrick Sheltra overcame a spin on lap 20 to now come back and lead this race. They took 2 tires on that last stop. He's getting it done.
On board with Kevin Harvick. You can see the view out the left side for him as it's basically now 2 lines heading down the backstretch. Sheltra and young Brian Scott are saying, fellas, we're going to stay up here for a while. You're going to have to take it away from us. We're not going to give it up.
Yeah, they both have fast cars. They've been up in the top 10 the majority of the race. Doing a nice job out front. See that Paul Menard in the 3rd spot.
And that 3rd line has one of the Roush cars up there.
You also see in that outside lane, Jamie McMurray now trying to make his way back from that penalty on pit road.
And McMurray's 3rd in that line. It looks like that is Stenhouse. Checking it's Colin Brown in the 16th. Then you've got right in front now sliding up is the 22. Here's a better view of it. We go side by side. Look at Tony Raines and the 7 of Arpin coming up the middle.
Yeah, look at that middle line move.
Also Also into the mix, the 62 of Gone. Up front, it's now Brian Scott. All of a sudden, he is pulled ahead with the help of Paul Menard. Shelter's looking for some help.
Scott Wimmer caught in the middle.
So is Parker Kligerman. Kligerman's right there. Here comes Menard now on the low side. Keselowski and Harvick with Tony Raines right behind them. It looks like maybe the high line may be the preferred place.
Yeah, and that was an example right there probably of where Kevin Harvick chose to go with Brad Keselowski because he's a little more familiar with him. That middle was going pretty good, but that was a driver in Parker Kligerman that Kevin Harvick wasn't that familiar with, so he chose the man that he's racing with.
And look at the 11 of Brian Scott, and look at the difference in miles per hour. Scott is dropping because he doesn't have the help. Now all of a sudden he gets the help and he starts coming back. It is interesting when he can show you that, and it's so vivid.
Tony Raines down on the inside. He's trying to take the lead.
Well, Tony's had some good runs over the course of time on these restrictor plate races.
And he's a driver that a lot of these other Cup drivers are comfortable being around. They know they can count on him and trust him to run tight. You can see right there Kevin Harvick now pulling up behind him.
Now, remember when Kyle said we got to team up or we're going to be in trouble? Well, the 18 and the 20 are matched up. Well, they were for a moment. Kyle's got to sort of catch back up to them. Remember, Kyle was having overheating problems, cooled it off. As they come down the backstretch, it is still the 22 of Keselowski. Tony Raines. Look out.
That was just about a problem right there. You saw them all stacking up.
And now the problem is, where does Logano go? Because he went below the line. He cannot improve.
He did a good job right there to avoid a crash. He kind of just got out of the mix, and that kept the other cars from making contact.
Yeah, and I think Tony Raines gave him a little bit of room there also, so that could have been a really bad situation as we're 4 wide through the triangle.
Oh, and they hang Tony out. I mean, he is just going to get the old NASCAR Talladega shuffle right here. Nobody helps him, and he had done so well getting up into that number 2 spot. And look at it, still nobody. One is the loneliest.
Whoa, Jamie McMurray just slots in right in front of Scott Wimmer.
Yeah, that's what makes him so good at these tight places.
Well, the action continues here as we're working lap 57 at the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. It's going to continue right to the checkered flag. ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series brought to you by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. Well, let's talk a little bit what's coming up. NASCAR Now will be on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the next stop for the Nationwide Series, Friday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2 from Richmond. Now, next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern on ABC, it'll be the IZOD IndyCar Series at the Oval at Kansas. And then on Saturday, 9 Eastern on ESPN2, qualifying for the AAA Insurance NHRA Midwest Nationals. And finals next Sunday, 7 Eastern, also on ESPN2. So we've got your whole weekend booked for you if you're an auto racing fan from end to end. Right now, you're looking at Kyle Busch in front of Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, and Paul Menard with Brian Scott now 5th. And while we were gone, we had like 2 or 3 different lead changes, and that's how quickly it happened.
I think Kyle Busch found a way to cure his overheating problem.
Yeah, put it out front.
Yeah,
clean air on the nose.
Brad Keselowski slid up the track just a little, and nobody went up there with him. He went all the way back. He's now 14th, now 15th on the racetrack.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray took the lead there a minute ago, and now he's sliding backwards just outside the top 10.
See, right there in 6th spot, a former champion, Jeff Green, in that 40 car, having a great run.
And we can tell you, everybody was saying there were no starting parts today. The cars that are out or off of this track are due to either mechanicals or from the crashes. Let's get more on the 18, Dave Burns.
The interesting thing about that last pit stop was that they did not take on any tires. They made a slight adjustment, including taking tape off the grill to cool it down. You guys, of course, said that being out front will help that as well, but they had that problem partially fixed by removal of tape on that last run. They're running well now. Mike?
Well, Dave, at the beginning of the broadcast, we talked about the challenges facing the double-duty driver. The physical challenge, but most importantly, the mental challenge. Wondering what everybody else is going to do. Well, as far as Kevin Harvick goes, you can tell he's focused just by listening to his radio. It has been very rare today that he's even keyed it. The only sound we really hear is from his spotter. He is just focusing on what he has to do.
Well, talking the guys after last week at Texas, they said it was the day after where they really felt drained. But I like what you talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, DJ, the fact that this is mentally intense because you're so close to each other lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, this is just one of those races, the two races, you can't ever get away from the other cars. No matter how good your car is, you're always going to be there surrounded by other cars. And so it's just mentally taxing for you. Before the day's out, you hope that that doesn't make you make a mistake.
Clint Boyer in the 21, and they hook up together with McMurray and the 22 of Brad Keselowski as they are on the high side.
Yeah, this will be a group to watch right here just to see how far they can carry this momentum.
And Keselowski tucks in behind the rookie Arpin in his first nationwide race. And Arpin doing a fine job. That is back in 14th, 15th position. 3 wide heading into the corner.
You remember earlier, see Clint Boyer right there making his way to the front. Right here's this big wreck that we had on the front stretch. A lot of cars involved. You see that 21 car coming right through there. Gets a little bit of contact, spins. Doesn't do any damage, just barely missed Morgan Shepherd there.
A total of 12 cars were involved in our one big crash so far today. Hopefully it's the last one. We told you that 6 of them never made it back out onto the racetrack, and there is Boyer right now as he is fighting his way back towards the front. He's shown in 19th position right behind the 22 of Keselowski.
And you can see Colin Brown there in the 16 car. He's got a lot of damage from that accident on the right side of his car. Doing a nice job keeping it up inside the top 20.
Well, he has to have a good run. I mean, he is under the gun right now with Jack Roush and the team. While all this continues, let's check in on our race lead because it is still Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick running 1-2.
Okay, what we got is the nose guard is rubbed loose and it's flapping up and it's keeping the air from making that corner and going in the bottom of the grill there. We'll have to cut the nose guard off.
Okay, what they're talking about, that nose guard, is a clear decal, basically, that goes on the front of the car to keep the paint from getting sandblasted off. And some of that nose guard, like he said, has come loose. You can see it flapping right over that opening of the grill.
Great work by our camera crew. And they've had a long day, folks. They've been out here since like 6 this morning doing both races in many cases. Great job by everybody. Whenever we have these rain delay deals, it's a mess for our crew, especially. The battle continues. So we now know what Kyle Busch is dealing with as far as the overheating, and they know what they need to fix it. That could be dangerous for the rest of the field. Remember, Kyle is going for 3 in a row. Back here at the Aaron's 312, the action continues at Talladega as we're well past halfway, working lap number 70 of 117. And it's now Paul Menard and Brad Keselowski out in front as they have helped each other into that position. Kyle Busch third, Kevin Harvick fourth, and Joey Logano, despite his earlier travails of dragging the fuel can off pit road, he has finds himself back into fifth. And remember, Jamie McMurray got busted for speeding. There you see him in the Hellman's 88 as he's working his way back as well. Let's talk more about Mr. Menard. He is doing really well here, Mike Massaro.
Yeah, Marty, this has to be a tremendous relief for that race team. I spoke with them just after qualifying on Friday, and they were scratching their head. They had a vibration, a mysterious vibration that they couldn't diagnose. They traded out the drive shaft, the hubs, the tires, and still were worried it wouldn't go away. How bad was it? Paul told me the vibration in the car was so bad he couldn't even see. He saw 3 yellow lines, not just 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has had a very, very good season so far in this nationwide car. A total of 4 top 10s in 7 races. In fact, there are his last 5, with the other 2 just being a tick out of the top 10.
Definitely been a turnaround season for Paul. I remember the first time he ever saw this racetrack. We brought him here in an ARCA car in 2003. Did pretty well. He started in the back and won. So he knows how to do this.
Kyle Busch wanted to go back to the front here, though.
Yeah, he's pushing away here as this action continues, and Paul slides up to take advantage, and whoa. Kyle says, no, I don't think so. I want to go around you.
That's such a huge run, a big push from Kevin Harvick.
And he pulls right in front of Paul, so He gets by him and then also shuts it down.
I can tell you Kevin Harvick will remember that too as the laps wind down and they're in that position again. He might let Mr. Busch jump out there the next time and fake like he's going, and he'd be sitting up.
But look who comes in to tuck in right behind him. His favorite partner, Jamie McMurray.
You're right, that's his favorite drafting partner.
You see what happened there? Jamie let up a little bit to get in behind Kevin, and here comes Justin Allgaier on the outside.
Yeah, he's got help from the 21 of Clint Bowyer. Now, Bowyer, just a couple of laps ago, was all the way back in 30th position. He's now up to 9th. That's what I love about this place.
It looked like Bowyer went back there on purpose all the way to the back, and now here he comes back up to the front using that outside.
Well, pick your favorite driver, because by the time we come back from commercial break, I guarantee he won't be in the same position that he started when we leave you right now. All right, let's get caught up on what's happened so far with a 5-hour Energy Rapid recap as Kevin Harvick is attempting to make history, winning both the Nationwide and Sprint Cup races in the same day. He's already won the Sprint Cup race. Let's go to lap number 20, because this is when we have the 12-car big one. 6 of them do not come back from this, including Mike Wallace, Michael Annett, Jason Leffler, Reed Sorensen, Stephen Wallace, all of them out. Others suffer a lot of damage, including Carl Edwards. In fact, right now, Carl Edwards could be out of the top 5 in points unless some things happen. This is Carl also on lap 47. He has problems. He's already like 7-8 laps down at this point. Almost gets into the field. Luckily keeps it down and was able to continue on pit road. Well, Joey Logano forgot about the fact that the fuel's supposed to go in the tank and the can's supposed to stay on pit road, and he gets penalized. And just a moment ago, here's another lead change. Kyle Busch gets shuffled as Menard goes around with the help of Brad Keselowski, and Brad says, thank you very little, I'll take over from here. Back to the action, and you see that's Eric McClure down below the line and getting out of everybody's way as he has got a problem. And down the backstretch, Brad Keselowski's in the middle of that mix, and again, it looks like Kyle's temperatures are going up.
I think maybe they have more of that problem. They're going to have to get that piece cut away from there, Andy.
Yeah, they are going to have to do that. They can't stand to run up behind anybody because of that. It's going to really hamper his efforts to try to win this thing if they don't fix it.
Let's set it for you. It is Paul Menard with Joey Logano second, Brian Vickers third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Bain is fifth, and then McMurray is sixth. They're coming up on some slower traffic. That is Brian Keselowski. He ducks down below the line and let the freight train go by.
Trevor Bain in that 99 car. Doing a nice job.
I think maybe Jerry Baxter loosened the reins a little bit, let him see what he can do here.
Total of 31 cars still on the lead lap, and there we go side by side with Harvick, as we mentioned, looking to make NASCAR history. No one has ever won a Sprint Cup and a Nationwide Series race on the same day at the same track.
Yeah, Trevor said he wanted to learn today, so he's in between the guys who finished first and second in the Cup race, so that's a good place to get some experience.
Another youngster doing really well is Steve Arpin, but how about a shout out for the 0 of Chrissy Wallace? First time we've really gotten our sights on her. She has been very consistent here, Doc.
Indeed she has, Marty. The 21-year-old daughter of Series veteran Mike Wallace, making only her second ever NASCAR Nationwide Series start. And give a call to her car owner, Johnny Davis. He went to Richard Childress Racing and bought a very good race car, a Clint Bowyer car. Then he went and bought an ECR engine to give her the best shot to come here and run laps and get some experience. She responded with an 18th place qualifying run and is trying to just finish this race and get laps on a super speedway here in Nationwide competition. Good job for Chrissy.
It certainly is. And back at Daytona, she qualified, and that car was a handful. We could see it all, and she was out very early in that race, finishing 43rd.
It's amazing what a good race car will do for you, though. She's got a good horse today. Doing a good job with it, just like Doc said.
Well, remember, she ran a truck race here and beat her father. I mean,
that's saying something, too. He's good here.
Trevor Bain fell back a little bit. Right now he's alongside of Arpin and Chrissy Wallace, and now we're going 4 wide, and there's a lot of rookie stripes there.
Oh, yeah, this has the makings of not something very good, but they're making it through. They're doing a tremendous job. You know, the thing that I see is they're racing hard, but they're giving each other room right now.
Keselowski on the low side, right behind Chrissy Wallace. He was up in the lead for a while. In fact, led a total of 10 laps. He's one of 12 different leaders. We've had 27 lead changes so far today, and we're still on lap 81 of 117.
Yeah, we still got 37 laps to go, and at some point that intensity level does ratchet up. We see more giving early in the race than taking, but that sure does flip over when you get down to about 20 to go.
Yeah, we still have quite a bit to go here, and you can see Brendan Gaughan, who's in that. He spun earlier, making his way back up there with the help of Steve Arpin.
He's running 8th, right ahead of Chrissy Wallace in 9th.
Joey Logano pull out there, trying to go to the outside, thinking he had some help from Brian Vickers.
Vickers about a car length behind, but he's now getting some help from Gaughan right behind him, so they close that line up, and here they come. Boy, there's a lot of dicing going on back there, and who was it that pulled out a line? Oh, the 7 of Arpin. That's going to cost him as he looked to try and go down to the low line, and it left him in the middle.
Yeah, but he's got some help behind him. That's the good thing, and he's got a fast car. He didn't have to lift right there, so he's able to make up a couple of spots. The middle's not the worst place with this aero package to be because of the big weight that these cars make in the air, so you can get a clean run up through the middle if you have a little bit of pushing help.
Through the tri-oval, they're going 3 wide. It's the Aaron's 312 at Talladega, and we still have 31 cars on the lead lap and only 2 cautions. Back here at the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Super Speedway as we are working lap number 86, and for the first time today, it is a freight train of about the first 10 or 11 cars, and it's led by Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard, Parker Kligerman, and Joey Logano. That's your top 5. And you've got to go all the way back to almost like, 17th, 18th place. We haven't seen this all day long.
But sometimes you just have to take a breath. You know, you can't go 300 miles just that type of racing and something not happen.
And then when you see them start doubling back up is when they get real close to making green flag pit stops. They'll feel like they need to be a little further up in that line to give them a little cushion. They'll start racing a little more.
And we overheard on the radio, look around lap 95, which is the very outside part of the window, lap 47, or that'd be 47 total laps. Down the backstretch. Oh, I see a hand waving by 3rd place. Or make it 4th place.
Yeah, you see a couple of cars coming. Looks like Kligerman and 22 Brad Keselowski have their hands up the window like they're going to pit this time.
So obviously a few of these cars cannot make it to the
Well, we heard some cars say they could go 10 or 11 more laps, and that's some of the cars that get great mileage. The 88 car is one of those. See them now coming down pit road. The Dodges are the first on pit road.
Single file at the line.
Notice these are all Penske basic team cars, although the 42 is not officially a Team Penske car, but all 3 of them Dodges. That way they get back out on the track together.
That's the plan anyway. Let's see how the pit stop goes.
Yeah, don't forget to leave the fuel can behind. Doc?
It'll be 4 tires and 2 cans of Sunoco fuel for Brad Keselowski. Good news is Brad says, I got a car that can go up front and lead whenever I want to. It's that good. Much.
And last time on pit road, Justin Allgaier had a problem, a collision, a clear out, almost gets out this time, right side only, and fuel for Allgaier.
And I'm looking for Parker Kligerman in this mix, and he actually got out in front of the other 2. And here comes the field heading for the tri-oval and now down towards start-finish. So they've got to get spooled up in a hurry.
It looks like they will get lapped here, possibly.
And you have to stay on the apron all the way over to the exit of turn 2 as you exit the pits.
Here they come, out onto the back straightaway, and here comes the pack. Led by Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray.
Well, the momentum may carry this field by them for at least a short time. They may be let down, but these cars are all getting ready to make pit stops. Mike?
Well, guys, as you know, this race can be compared to a chess match, and already Kevin Harvick is plotting his course for the end of this race, figuring out who he wants to draft with. This is what he said over the radio just moments ago.
We need to do whatever we can do to stay with this 88. That's the car I like to draft with.
Kevin just gave me the thumbs up. He's in with us. That the 88 is.
I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do, and we just make better ground.
And that, of course, should come as no surprise. If you watched the Cup race earlier, it was those 2, nose to tail, all the way to the checkers, Marty.
And he's never won here in the Nationwide Series. He has 1 top 5 in 5 races. That was a 2nd place finish back in April of 06. Down the back stretch as this first lead group of about 8 cars has pulled away. But those, there you see the 42. There they are, the 42, leading the Penske group as they're trying to keep from going a lap down. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
They might be able to stay on the lead lap here because it's not going to be many laps before these leaders do make a pit stop. It's really important, though, to put yourself in the right position to make this stop. We saw in the Cup race earlier, Casey Kane got hung out. He was trying to make a green flag stop, and there was just no room for him to make the move to pit road. So you got to make sure you get your car in position. That's why you see the hands out the window waving so they can make sure they have a clear route on the pit road.
It also wouldn't be a disaster because of the wave around rule, but we saw in the Cup race where some guys got burned by that because the other cars stayed out and they were behind a race leader.
That's not going to be the case here, though. If the caution comes out, you will see the leaders on pit road. As you can see, Harvick now going by this group, put them a lap down.
Well, we'll see how this unfolds in the strategy. And look at Logano coming down for the low side behind the 3 Dodgers.
See if those Dodgers are able to stay right there. It could actually block those other cars from making a pit stop. They'll have to back off maybe and get behind them. It looks like Harvick's going to be able to clear.
Well, he's got his favorite wingman with him right there in the 88 of Jamie McMurray. And boy, Paul Menard is saying, look, I saw what you guys did earlier today. I'm going to tag along.
Hitting in 2 laps.
See, now the crew chief's telling these guys that, hey, we're making a pit stop in 2 laps, giving them plenty of time to get their car in a position where they can get on pit road.
Yeah, but as you look back, these other cars are closing in, so that hole's going to close up even more.
And you notice now, all of a sudden, the Penske cars are coming on because Kevin knows, I got to get to the low side of this racetrack.
He's got to find a way to do it now, but there's really no place to fall back and get a hole.
Yeah, I think Joey Logano got himself in a nice spot here. He's going to have to come here shortly, and he's down in a good spot to be able to do that.
Looks like the 32.
Ryan Vickers is coming in.
Vickers is peeled off, so he's coming in for his stop here on lap number 92. And you don't need a full load, but you need enough for 3 green-white checkers. Let's go. Pit road, Dave.
They talked about 4 tires for Vickers. Car handling very well. The only thing, like a lot of people, too hot. So they plan to pull tape off the front of that race car, which you can see them doing right now. And they'll change just those 2 tires. Shannon.
Dave, it was no tires for Brian Scott on the last pit stop. They are going to take right sides this time. And Sunoco fuel for the 11th car. What a solid run for Brian Scott in his first nationwide start here at Talladega.
And on the right side of your screen, Kevin Harvick can't get down to pit road. Look at him. He is still boxed out by the line. He has wanted to come in.
Okay, here all the leaders come, too.
And he can't do it.
He's going to make it.
He's going to make it.
Yep.
He'd have been a sitting duck.
Yeah, Kyle Busch got run into there, too. It almost caused a big accident.
David?
Jamie McMurray is in. He asked his crew to remind him where he got busted for speeding last time so he doesn't get it this time. He didn't slide the tires, so they'll just take 2, top it off with fuel. Trevor Bayne is in as well. He'll take 2, and he leaves. The 18 of Kyle Busch is in, fixing the front end of that car now for Kyle, trying to get it so that it doesn't overheat for Kyle Busch. He's gone too. Mike.
Kevin Harvick finally able to squeeze onto pit road, makes his way to his stall, right sides only, and he's away.
And you saw the damage on the 18 of Kyle Busch, so this could be extremely important because of the aerodynamic situation.
Yeah, I think this is going to hurt him. He's got a lot of damage to that right rear.
Not only that, it's going to be flapping out there.
Yeah, he could even get black flag if that gets too loose, and NASCAR thinks it's a problem.
Brendan Gaughan, he was the race leader as he stayed out an extra lap. You see Morgan Shepherd in as well. David?
And the 62 of Brendan Gaughan is in. They talked about this looks like fuel only, but they don't have it full of fuel yet. And he hit the line there. We'll have to see if NASCAR calls him for being on the line while they were fueling.
Steve Arpin now on pit road, and like most others on pit road, he's electing to take right sides only, trying to keep that track position. A little slow getting out of his box, but finally he's away.
Yeah, but this young rookie has shown everybody an awful lot here in his first nationwide race, and he hooks up with the 27 on the way back out. Now, Robert Richardson has stayed out. He is shown as your race leader. Got word now that Arpin has made his first mistake. Too fast entering pit road. Also, the 62 of Brendan Gaughan got caught for speeding. And here comes Richardson, who has now fought his way with 3 top 20 finishes into the top 30 in owner points. And there is Kyle Busch with that damage.
Yeah, you see some smoke coming from the car now.
Right side tires that get the fender on.
All right, let's go back and show you what happened to Kyle. Keep an eye on the 18. Right in the middle of your screen. Boom.
Oh, yeah, he got hit hard. See, he was up in that lane. Looked like he was going to stay on the track. At the last second, he decided to come down pit road, and the car behind him didn't realize that.
So that's the damage, and now Kyle's quest for 3 straight races in a row is in serious jeopardy. He won the last 2, but it doesn't look like he can win this one unless he gets some big help.
Get it off the right side tires and get it off
David,
the wheel.
they're going to bring it back down. Man, that is a lot of damage. They're going to put a big piece of Bear Bond on there and change that right rear tire because it's been rubbing. Here it comes off the car right now. If I can get Rusty to turn just to his right a little bit, you see the damage on that tire right next to the wall. And it's got the cord. It's all the way down to the cords on that tire right now. And disappointing for them. Last year they got in a wreck late in the race, came back to finish 10th, but this is probably going to put him a lap down if they're not careful.
Well, he's never won here at Talladega. His best finish was 3rd back in 2006, and it was the 09 of Patrick Sheltra that got into him as he made that move towards pit road. And you can see he is definitely going to go a lap down with only 21 to go. This time by Harvick in front. All right, let's get you caught up on what's going to happen on the calendar. We've got NASCAR Now tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the Nationwide Series Friday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. The IndyCar Series will be on Saturday afternoon at 1:30 Eastern from Kansas. The Eyes on IndyCar Series will be on ABC that next week. And the AAA Insurance NHRA Midwest Nationals qualifying next Saturday at 9 Eastern. And the final Sunday at 7 Eastern, both of those on ESPN2. On board right now, the 32 of Brian Vickers, and Vickers running in 7th position.
You could hear him working that throttle a little bit so he can stay in that position there and not get into the back of the car in front of him, which is Jeff Green, too hard in the corner.
Still have a total of 28 cars on the lead lap, and now everybody is cycled through on pit stop. So it's Harvick, Boyer now in 2nd, McMurray 3rd, Scott Wimmers put the 27 in 4th, Trevor Bayne in 5th, and Jeff Green in 6th. A great run for the 40 team.
All right, Dale, this is 17 laps to go. The chess game is starting. Where do you want to be here?
I want to be out front. I mean, that might sound like the simple answer, but I think with this aero package, I think that you can control how things go, and I want to be the guy leading the race and controlling everything.
Look at the top side. Kligerman getting the push from Brad Keselowski. The 2 Dodges trying to move their way to the front.
They're making pretty good time right there on the outside.
I'm telling you, Brad Keselowski is one of the best at pushing somebody, although he is getting Kligerman pretty loose in that throttle. They are going to the front, though.
I think Kligerman's eyes are as big as saucers right now. Let's get more on the 42. Shannon?
Guys, when Parker Kligerman was a little boy, he slept with his arm around a model car rather than a teddy bear. So you know he is living out a childhood dream right now. And on the racetrack, the car is great. He used the word perfect to describe it earlier in the run. He's on 2 tires right now. Great run for Parker Kligerman.
There you can see his cycle as the laps continue to wind down. And here we go.
Rain's coming.
3 high. Tony Raines getting back into the mix. Remember when he got shuffled all the way back to the back of the pack? Well, he's got Logano behind him right now. Kligerman is right in the middle with the 22.
4 wide here. 4 wide. Okay, 5 wide. 4 wide.
Uh-oh, top contact again, the 98.
They make it through there somehow.
I don't see how. I don't know.
So far.
Doc, I was going to send it to you, but the action got too fast and furious. What do you got for us?
How about aggressive race car drivers? And you know Brad Kay will get aggressive if he has to here at Talladega. When he won 4 races a year ago, he was not leading with 10 to go in any of those races. He actually drove it as a great closer. And a year ago, when he won his very first NASCAR Sprint Cup race, we all know what happened. He wasn't leading 500 yards from the checkered flag, but he won it.
And just go back to today's first race. Kevin Harvick only led 2 laps, number 5 and number 200.
And the most important one.
That's right.
The last one.
The one they pay the most money for. And Harvick trying to make NASCAR history. No drivers ever won the Nationwide race and the Sprint Cup race in the same day at the same track. And he has a chance to do it because he is well out in front right now.
You can see in our shot there that Keselowski got out from behind the 42 of Kligerman. Made a hole there. Get himself down on the inside. I think Brad saw that they'd gone as far as they were going to go as a twosome right there, and he needed to get himself in a better position.
That's Brian Keselowski on the high side. He's several laps down. That's why he's staying up there, letting the freight train go on by. And you're right. I think Kligerman just wants to stay with Keselowski. He knows that's his best chance for a good finish.
These cars are dancing all over. They're getting a little bit more intense with their bump drafting. And you have to think that even though tires usually aren't a concern here, a lot of these guys didn't put on any tires, and the most anybody got was 2 tires.
Well, Kligerman is a 5th nationwide race, and he finished 7th here in an 09 ARCA race. He knows how to get around this track. It's go time at the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Super Speedway. 10 laps to go, 9 next time by. It's Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, Jamie McMurray, Wimmer, Logano, Bain. That's your top 6. And look at the outside line, the road getting squirrely back there. That's the 43 of Scott Lagasse.
Yeah, they see those front 4. They're pretty content to run single file, but this outside lane, they know if they don't move up in this line, they're not going to have a shot to win this thing. So they're going to take some chances of going backwards to try to make some forward progress.
Let's listen in on the 88 radio talking about the strategy.
That 21 has no intentions of doing nothing until it's at least 2 to go.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just trying to get my engine cooled off so I can push you when it comes time.
All right, when does it come time? When are you going to make your move?
I think if you're going to sit and wait this long, you're going to wait until the last lap. And, you know, that could be coming off of turn 4 and get to the tri-oval. You've got a lot more room there, and you get a nice push.
Jamie McMurray, as you see the laps that he's led, as they are coming up on a group of 4 cars that are lapped down or more. Look out.
Wimmer just forced his way underneath McMurray.
Yeah, this is going to start the process sooner, I believe. I think we're going to see somebody try to help Jamie McMurray right here.
I'm telling you, Wimmer did a great job right there to move himself up 1 spot and shuffle McMurray, who's one of the cars he feels like he has to beat.
Dave, let's get an update on Scott Wimmer.
Early in this race, Marty, he said to his crew, I'm going to be real good later in this race. I'm just taking it easy right now. On their final stop, they made a 2-tire right side change, and that was with a Roush Racing crew. Got him on and off the pit road and kept him up in that lead group.
And you got to hand it to Ricky Vires, the crew chief on this car. He's had a good car just about every single race, whether it's Greg Biffle driving it or Scott Wimmer right here we see driving it, doing a great job.
And you see that McMurray is now behind Brad Keselowski and in front of Brian Vickers on that outside line.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski decided to jump up in front. He knows that 88 is a fast race car. He knows he can get a pretty good push here. That's his best opportunity to get to the front.
7 laps to go, and this is how close it has been all day long. Here they come again.
Trevor Bayne jumping out of line there. I'm not sure that's his best idea.
And he may get shuffled. He just paid the price. See ya. There goes Allgaier by. Shelby Howard, who's got a good run going. Colin Brown way up high. Here comes Paul Menard trying to get back in the mix right behind the 12 of Allgaier.
You see Jason Keller also in that 35 car moving his way up.
This time by, it'll be 6 laps remaining. And remember, the finish line is not at the middle of the tri-oval. It's right there. So you have that extra distance, so you've got to plan for that in your strategy.
Yeah, you sure do. And that's what we saw in the Cup race today. Kevin Harvick waiting extremely late to make that move so that you don't get that side draft and they can pull you back too far.
The outside line starting to close the gap a little bit more with Keselowski in front.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of this outside lane. You got Keselowski and McMurray. You got the Dodges back there. You also have Brian Vickers. This is a group that can get it done out here.
I think the biggest problem may be if anybody, you can see a nice bump right there, but if they just don't get too aggressive through the tri-oval, and I think that's where they could get themselves in trouble.
3 lap cars in front of this freight train pack of cars, as there goes Keselowski looking for the lead. There's the gap. They are going to swallow these 3 up in no time. Question is, will they give up their individual battles to get to the high side and let these guys go through? Kyle Busch is one of the players in that mix.
Now he's a McMurray. He's pushing that 22 car. Might have been the best thing that happened to McMurray was getting shuffled by Scott Wimmer, because now it's forced him up there in that outside lane. Looks like these 2 RCR teammates might even be working together, even though they're not teammates in this series.
Yeah, you see Keselowski go back to the inside, though, so that opens up the outside for Jamie McMurray. Brian Vickers pushing him.
Chrissy Wallace about to go a lap down as well. We talked about her great run The last round of pit stops, just she could not get hooked up with a draft partner, and there's the price you pay.
After all of that, here we are back in the same thing. Jamie McMurray back in third spot.
Yep, for now, he's looking for more. Here he comes on that outside.
You can hear the crowd over the north side. Crowd coming down towards the finish. Kligerman's involved.
Caution's out.
The 16 of Colin Brown is involved.
7 Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, Morgan Shepherd, Scott Lagasse.
Okay, Morgan Shepherd done a great job all day of running up in the lead pack. See the 7, I don't think Steve Arpin hit anything.
Morgan was running 29th at the time of the crash. And you saw Kyle going a lap down. Now, the damage to the 7 of Arpin. Arpin had been running in the top 15 all day long.
Kyle Busch is actually a couple laps down right there. I don't know how he's getting swallowed up by this group.
So it looks like, with all the damage, there is Kyle Busch's. He went up and sort of looked like he just went by the 16. I don't know if there was any contact. Let's take a look here.
You can see the 18s back here. He'd gotten out of the way of this group.
Yeah, there's a little contact
That's
right
Steve
there.
Arpin with the 16 of Colin Brown.
Morgan got it right there at the end.
Yeah, he almost made it through. Take another angle. Keep an eye on the 7, bottom of your screen. Right there. And that's all it takes.
Yeah, and that's just racing here at Talladega. I mean, you got cars moving, trying to position themselves, and it just takes a little bit of contact.
You know, I've seen rookies do that. I've seen veterans do the exact same thing. This track just doesn't discriminate when it comes down to that. It's just so tight, so fast. Kligerman takes a bit.
Boy, yeah, he turned and pancaked the front nose of that car. All right, our third caution now with our second multi-car crash here at Talladega. Now officially 6 laps to go, but it's going to take some time to clean this one up. Who's going to win it? Stay tuned to find out. Oh, back here at Talladega moments ago, this was Kyle climbing out of what is left of his Z-Line Design Toyota. And a tough day for him. I mean, he finished 9th in the Cup race. And right now, depending on what happens, it looks like he's going to be somewhere in the 20s. We'll somewhere have to sort it out. But let's talk a little baseball while we've got a chance. The Major League season continues on ESPN tonight and tomorrow. It is the Braves heading to Citi Field to face the Mets. And that's presented by Taco Bell at 8 Eastern. And then tomorrow, it's the Mets hosting the Dodgers. Monday Night Baseball presented by Sears Lawn and Garden. That's at 7 Eastern. It's baseball on ESPN and ESPN3.com tonight and tomorrow. Let's go back and take one more look at what happened in this mess. As you can see the crew trying to figure out how they're going to load that onto the hauler. And 6 cars that we know of for sure involved in this one. See if any of them can get back out for what looks like it will be another green-white checkered finish. Under our third caution here for 15 total laps of the 117 we're running, and Shannon Spake has caught up with Kyle Busch.
A long day for your defending champion. What happened out there, Kyle?
I just got behind. You know, we just had a mismanaged day. We had started overheating, and we were good up front. We were leading, we were fine, but anytime we got back in traffic at all, we just had to go back and get out of anybody's way, not overheat. So we got back there, and then we had to come to pit road for our final stop there. And I don't know who ran over me from behind, but I got run over coming to pit road and put the right rear quarter panel on the right rear tire, and then it started rubbing. We had to come in and get it away, otherwise we were going to blow a tire. And just, you know, unfortunately, just a mismanaged day. And there at the wreck, I missed everything, was down at the bottom, and then there's grass coming up and 2 other cars spinning, wrecking on the bottom in front of me. So I turn up to go back up towards the racetrack, and somebody just comes out of nowhere and just broadsides me on the door. But I guess you'll have that.
Kyle Busch, long day, over 800 miles for some of these guys here today, guys.
Well, and Kyle brings up a great point here. I mean, one problem, the overheating problem, ends up a chain reaction that leads to this.
That's exactly right. I used to preach that to my guys. You know, a mistake on pit road can start a chain of events like that and cost you a good finish, and that's what happened there. Just one little thing there is getting to pit road, a car hits him, and then everything just tumbles from there.
I can go back even further to the
overheating problem, yep. But, you know, that was actually a product of some of this bump drafting we're seeing. It knocked some of that stuff loose and started causing the car to overheat.
All right, we had our first 3 full green-white checkers in NASCAR history earlier today. We're going to have our first attempt today here in the nationwide race. It is Kevin Harvick on the low side, McMurray, Boyer, Vickers, Brad Keselowski, and Menard, your top 6 as we go green.
Billy, can you explain to Clint or Dylan, or explain to Clint exactly how we did that in the last race? That's what he needs to do.
I told him earlier with about 15 to go, 18 to go, I was like, you guys want to make a move now? Go ahead. We're good with it.
So that is Harvick's radio and the conversation, and there is Clint coming, and there's McMurray saying, whoa, I thought I was your dance partner.
It looks like Clint was paying attention because he's doing just exactly what Harvick wanted him to do, and that's put that bumper right to him, try to get him out front here, and then he'll have his shot at winning.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray had a good run there, and he got a nice push from Brian Vickers, but he pushed him too far.
Shelby,
3 wide.
And
for second.
Out.
Here they go.
The 88 on the high side getting the push from Vickers. Here comes Harvick saying, I remember this guy. I'll dance with him.
Yeah, but don't forget about Boyer on the bottom there.
Vickers right behind him. Boyer now has the 27 as his partner, and Scott Wimmer.
White flag.
White flag. Here we go. Harvick in front. Can he make NASCAR history and win both ends of a nationwide Sprint Cup doubleheader in one day?
He's going to have to fight him off from both sides right here. He's got cars coming each way.
McMurray with a head of steam.
McMurray, oh, look out, a little contact with a 32. McMurray says, hey, I was in front the last time. You took it away from me earlier today. He's going to try and take it away from you.
He's hung in the middle. Here comes Keselowski.
Got trouble now. Keselowski's got like on the high side. Look out, they're going to go around.
Behind.
Oh, big crash. Oh, and up into the wall. Look out. The caution is out. The race will finish. And it looks like Brad Keselowski is going to get the race win.
Bring it here. Bring it here.
We will check with NASCAR officials because of where the field would be set when the yellow came out. Unofficially, it looks like Brad Keselowski has taken the win, and tough break for Kenny Wallace there.
Oh, it's good to see that right there.
That is Dennis Setzer. Boy, that car is torn up.
And got up in the catch fence. Catch fence did its job, though. Put the car right back on the track.
The word from NASCAR is they want to recheck the video and the scoring lines before they make the official word.
Make a U-turn. Come back around. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
That sounded like the captain, Roger Penske's voice. Brian Scott's car torn up.
Brendan Gaughan
torn up as well.
They're actually having all these guys turn around on the backstretch and come back.
Yeah, because there is so much damage.
They don't want them running through that accident scene up there. They want to give all of these workers plenty of room. They don't want race cars coming by this, so they're turning them around.
And you can see how much debris is scattered everywhere on this racetrack. Let's go back and take another look and see what happened.
See McMurray trying to get in line right here, right behind Harvick, just not enough room.
Yeah, and he had to check up for just a second because he was on the right rear quarter of Kevin Harvick.
And then once he goes around, the chaos begins.
Wow.
Look at Setzer. Wow.
Good to see him get out of that car, but that catch fence does its job.
Well, and remember, they raised the catch fence after last year's race here. Also stretched it out over the racetrack. You're right. It did its job. Another view.
You see right there. Jamie McMurray just trying to get in. He was going to try to get there and push Kevin Harvick.
You got to remember, an opening. They're coming to the checker flag, so they're not going to let off.
Let's go on board with Justin Allgaier. Just listen.
outside. 2 up, spin in front of you. Watch him, clear the bottom.
You know, this was the last race for these type cars here because at Daytona they'll run the new car, but this wasn't how they wanted to send them back for sure.
This is the way Keselowski wanted to go out though with this car. And he's the wind. He's burning the tires off right there.
We got 1 checker flag today. That was cool. Great job, everybody.
And the official word from NASCAR is, yes, it is Brad Keselowski's win, his first win here at Talladega in his 4th race in the Nationwide Series, 7th career win, the first since Memphis last October. So now Dodge, who had gone well since 07 without a win, now has 2 wins at Bristol with Allgaier and now here with Brad Keselowski. So you can see he's already burned the tires to the cords. We'll check on all the people that were involved in this, get an update on their conditions, and of course we'll talk to our winner when we come back. Back here at Talladega, that's the scene of where Dennis Setzer got into the catch fence. It did its job and kept him inside the racetrack, and you can see the marks on the safer barrier as well. While we're waiting for the Hellman's Victory Circle celebration to begin, let's go to Shannon with Carl Edwards.
What a day for Carl Edwards. Take me back to the very beginning of the race. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was behind you. I know you just spoke with him. What happened?
Yeah, Ricky just came over and made sure I knew that the guy behind him was pushing him really hard. I hadn't seen the back of my car yet, but my guys went in the garage and used those Metabo power tools and got the Fastenal Copart Fusion back together. I got hit so hard, I couldn't believe that the car would still run. So, you know, it's like Drew said, we've had bad luck the last 2 weeks, but we had great race cars. We're fast, and luckily we got a lot of races left, so we just have to keep digging.
And Carl Edwards is still 5th in the points. We're going to let him go. We have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. over here as well. We just heard Carl say you did speak with him. What did you learn out there today at Talladega on your first start?
Well, definitely got to be patient at the beginning. You know, we were coming to that competition caution there, and not sure who was behind us, either the 11 or maybe the 70. Just got into us all the way down the short chute and got us through the tri-oval. And I was in the brakes as hard as I could, and unfortunately we got into Carl. But, you know, felt like we had an engine, maybe a plug wire or something, you know, mechanical there with the engine. And, you know, we'll take it back to the shop and look at it. But the City Financial car was pretty good today. You know, it would run up there with those guys, and we had March of Dimes on there this weekend. So it was good that we brought it home in one piece, but definitely not the finish we were looking for. But, you know, like Carl said, we've had bad luck. Just, you know, we got fast cars, got good guys behind us, and we'll just have to go to Richmond next week.
Well, it was a 29th place finish for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but guys, he was there at the end. Marty?
All right, thank you, Shannon. As you can see, oh, look at the carnage behind, but there is the Hellman's Victory Circle, and it's time to talk to our race winner.
Another special day for Brad K. Talladega, great job, buddy. Take us through that green-white checkered at final restart.
Well, green-white checkers at Talladega are crazy. About 30 minutes ago, I did a green-white checkered and cup side and wrecked out pretty hard, and didn't even think I was going to get to run this race. I was in Infield Care Center, and I couldn't get approved to run because my carbon monoxide level was too high. So, man, to go from that moment where I thought, wow, I just lost the championship, I'm not even going to get to run, to getting in the car and winning the race, and exciting race, just amazing. It's awesome feeling to be here in Talladega. This track means a lot to me, and the fans that come here, that die-hard NASCAR fans, to be able to win in front of them, it's pretty cool.
And you also did something no one's ever done. You gave your crew chief, Paul Wolf, his very first ever victory as a crew chief.
That's awesome, man. Paul's been in the sport for a little while and builds great race cars, so it's great to get him in victory lane, along with Discount Tire. It's their 50th anniversary this weekend, so glad that we could do that for them. And first win that I've had for Penske, it feels pretty good.
And he reassumes the points leads, guys. He says he wants to give Roger Penske something Roger doesn't have, and that is a NASCAR championship. Mike.
And something Jason Keller hasn't had in a while, a top 5 finish. Great run for you today, bringing it home 4th.
Well, it really was. You know, the car was really good. My whole plan was to lay in the back and we charged up there to 5th, and the car was really driving great, and just rolled back there, just in the right place at the right time. I just want to thank Pro Motors. We knew we had great motors all year long. We just had to get the cars under them, and car drove good. And happy birthday to Joe, and it was mine and his birthday on Friday, so it's a good way to spend the birthday. But I just hope everybody's okay, and tell Jade and Deb I love them.
And a top 5 finish, certainly something Jason Kelly wanted desperately today. Jenna?
Well, one very happy driver, Johnny Borneman III. He's down here, finished 5th in this race here today. What does this win mean for you and this team?
Well, it's like a win, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, this 5th place finish.
5th place, this is unbelievable. You know, we came here strapped for money and just come here to live the dream, and had an opportunity to buy a good Abraham car and just come down here and run well, and had a great time, you know. Good job, Kevin. Thanks.
He just went on the roof of your car, or the hood of your car.
Very, very little sponsorship, Redline Oil and Twisted X boots. I know my mom and dad are jumping off the couch and Grandpa back home, and I wish Cassie could be here to see this. This is the best day of my life.
Very emotional down here. Dave?
Well, kind of the reverse effect down here. Jamie McMurray had a car he thought he could win the race with. We're going to roll the incident here for you, Jamie. What did you feel rather than see?
Well, they made it 3 wide on the backstretch, and I was trying to get back to the bottom, and I saw there was a gap between Harvick and Bowyer, and you know, when you're looking out of the side mirror, it's not as clear as what you think it was, what it needs to be, and I just, as soon as I felt him, I tried to get back up the racetrack to not wreck everybody, but you know, unfortunately I couldn't save it and ended up spinning out there. So unfortunately, I had a really good Hellman's Mayonnaise car. It would lead and you could push guys. It was a really good car. So unfortunately, I hate it for those guys that I tore their stuff up.
And with both races today, how do you feel about being kind of the new go-to guy at restrictor plate tracks?
Well, I didn't do so well here at the end, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy this, and I've been really fortunate. I've been lucky a lot of times to get in the right car and the right situation, and guys tend to want to work with you. So I really enjoy it. But I've wrecked a lot at these. You know, after winning Daytona, I think I wrecked the next 4 or 5 in a row, and never had a better than 30th place finish. So I am definitely enjoying what we've got going right now.
All right, we hope the pendulum swings back the other direction for Jamie. Marty?
All right, thanks, David. Take a look at the ticket to the race, because if you like this excitement, we're coming your way at especially Richmond next week. Just log on to NASCAR.com/tickets. As you look at those dates, go back to Jason Keller for a second. His 175th top 10 that broke a tie with Dale Jarrett for second on the all-time list. And for Johnny Borneman, his best finish in 16 nationwide races ever. So congratulations to those two guys. It was Keselowski, Logano, Harvick, Keller, and Borneman. Your top 5 with Clint Bowyer. And Tony Raines comes home in 7th. A great run. Some thoughts as we take a look at the points, guys?
Typical Talladega racing. I mean, just so exciting, and guys getting some great finishes.
Yeah, that's why you have to stay around to the very last lap, because you just don't know what's going to happen. But we've got a great points battle here. You see, Brad Keselowski, really surprised, I can tell you, that they started this team this year, and here they sit atop the points. They've won a race. Both the Penske cars there have won already this year.
Well, Brad Keselowski gives Dodge its 2nd win this season. We talked about that. He wants to give the captain, Roger Penske, a NASCAR championship. And right now, he leads the points championship over Kevin Harvick, who says he'll make his decision about whether or not he's going to run the whole season at Charlotte, which is just a few weeks away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. And I should clarify that by saying I'm not surprised at Brad. I'm just saying if they could put a team together, because he obviously has tremendous talent. It'll be great if Kevin Harvick decides to run this.
The cleaning bill is going to be high, though, for this Dodge team down in Victory Lane. A lot of Gatorade flying down there.
Well, don't forget, as we wrap things up here, our next telecast on the NASCAR Nationwide Series will be coming your way from Richmond on ESPN2 Friday, April 30th at 7 Eastern.
I got to get in Victory Lane.
Coming up next, it'll be Sports Center, and just in case you missed any of the NFL draft and you want to get caught up on everything, well, they're going to have a great draft wrap-up special. It's presented by Valspar. The celebration continues down in Victory Lane. It's been a long day of racing. A special salute to all of our crew, because they have been working all weekend long and in here since 6 a.m. this morning. So that's going to wrap it up for us. For everybody here on our ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here. I hope you enjoyed the day. We'll see you again till we meet again.